Paving the Way, American Sports Legends, written by Jeffrey B. First. Focus question. Who are some American sports legends and why do we remember them? Connections. Writing. Imagine being a newspaper reporter interviewing one of the athletes from the book. Write an article about the interview, including both the questions and answers. Social studies. Choose one of the athletes from the book. Create a timeline of that athlete's life. Record at least 10 events, including their birth and death. The greatest athlete of the 20th century, Jim Thorpe, 1887 to 1953. Who would you say was the greatest athlete of the last century? Football's Jim Brown? Basketball's Michael Jordan? Tennis's Billie Jean King? Baseball's Babe Ruth? Good choices. These record-setting superstars revolutionized their sports and deserve to be in the running for the #1 spot. But the athlete named the greatest of the great was Jim Thorpe, a native person of the Sac and Fox Nation born in Oklahoma in 1887. He played professional baseball, was the biggest football star of his day, and performed legendary feats in track and field. Do you know? Despite being born within the United States, Jim Thorpe, like most other Native people at the time, was not officially a U.S. citizen until passage of the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. Before he competed in the 1912 Summer Olympics, Thorpe was already a well-known college football star. As an All-American halfback from Pennsylvania, he thrilled crowds with his blinding speed and strength. He could just as easily run over would-be tacklers as run past them. He was also his team's punter and place kicker. Thorpe starred on the school's baseball and basketball teams too. He excelled in golf, tennis, swimming, and just about any sport he tried. At the 1912 Olympics, Thorpe represented the United States in the two toughest track and field events, the pentathlon, 5 events, and the decathlon, 10 events. Over the span of a few days, he achieved the unimaginable. He won 4 of the 5 events in the pentathlon, set a world record for the decathlon, and won the gold medal in both events. Amazing! No one in Olympic history had done this before Thorpe, and no one has done it since. When King Gustav V of Sweden called Thorpe to the award stand to get his medals, he said, "You, sir, are the greatest athlete in the world." Do you know? The International Olympic Committee, IOC, stripped Thorpe of his Olympic medals and struck down his records after learning that he had technically broken the rules of amateurism by playing minor league baseball during the summers of 1909 and 1910. Many other athletes had done the same but did not lose their amateur status because, unlike Thorpe, they played under fake names. Thorpe apologized to the Olympic Committee and explained that he didn't know about the rule, but they were unmoved. In 1983, the IOC finally presented replacement gold medals to Thorpe's family. The IOC did not, however, reinstate his scores in the official record. Thorpe turns pro. After the Olympics, Thorpe was famous the world over. He received a letter of congratulations from the White House. Professional sports teams offered him rich contracts. He turned them down to return to his old school to play one more season of college football. He scored 25 touchdowns and made a total of 198 points. He married his college girlfriend, Iva Miller, too. What a year! Then, in 1913, he became a professional baseball player with the New York Giants. He was great at swinging a bat, and his superior strength and speed also made him great at covering the outfield. Although Thorpe was good at baseball, he preferred football. In 1915, when professional football was just getting started, he joined the Canton, Ohio Bulldogs. He led his team to 3 championships in 1916, 1917, and 1919, while also playing baseball during the summer months. In 1920, Thorpe became the first president of the American Football Association, which later became the National Football League. One of his goals was to make the game more popular. To excite the fans at halftime, he would stand at the 50-yard line and drop kick a ball over the goalposts. Then he would face the other direction and do it again. Today, a statue of Thorpe greets visitors to the Football Hall of Fame. It is a tribute to the founding father of professional football and its first true star, the greatest athlete of the 20th century. The Other Babe, Mildred Didrikson Zaharias, 1911 to 1956. Jim Thorpe may have been named the greatest athlete of the 20th century, but sports lovers might also consider another candidate. Mildred Babe Didrikson Zaharias was an all-around athlete who dominated women's basketball, track and field, and golf in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. She was a serious, rough-and-tumble competitor at a time when women were expected to be modest and polite. Babe was born in Texas in 1911, the sixth of 7 children. In high school, she was a standout in volleyball, baseball, swimming, tennis, and especially basketball, the most popular women's sport of the time. Her high school team never lost a game. Never. She often scored 30 points by herself, when 20 was considered a respectable total for the whole team. Babe's interests shifted to track and field. A firm believer in strength training, Babe lifted weights, which few women did at that time. Babe's serious workouts and natural abilities paid off at a national track meet in July 1932. She entered 8 events and won 5. What's even more astonishing is that she single-handedly won the meet, competing against teams with 20 members. A few weeks later at the Summer Olympics, Babe won gold medals and set world records in the 80-meter hurdles, javelin, and high jump. No game she can't play. Babe's real fame was yet to come, and in a different sport, golf. Although she didn't pick up a club until age 21, Babe practiced her swing with focus and determination. She would hit 1,000 balls a day, taping over blisters that formed on her hands. Just a year later, in 1935, she won her first championship. In 1938, Babe married George Zaharias, a professional wrestler whom she had met while playing golf. Over the next 20 years, Babe won 82 tournaments, including an astonishing 17 in a row in 1946 and 1947. She helped found the LPGA, Ladies Professional Golf Association, in 1949. In 1953, while at the top of her game, Babe was diagnosed with cancer. Following an operation, her doctors thought she would never play again. Only 4 months later, she was back on the pro tour. Her family and millions of fans were devastated when Babe passed away from cancer the following year at age 45. Her life of sports achievements gained her a place in 2 halls of fame, golf and track and field. She was also voted Woman Athlete of the Year 6 times. No other person has been honored so often. Do you know? Babe was a fierce advocate for the rights of female athletes, but her fight for equality didn't extend to all of her peers. She sometimes made racist remarks about people of color, and in one infamous incident, dumped a pitcher of water on 2 sleeping teammates who were the first Black women on the U.S. Olympic track team. She was an undeniably great athlete whose character, unfortunately, did not match her athletic prowess. Baseball's most daring player, Jackie Robinson, 1919 to 1972. What would Major League Baseball be like today without superstars such as Frank Thomas, Derek Jeter, and Alex Rodriguez? How might the Hall of Fame look without Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, and so many other brilliant Black and Latino ball players? It's hard to imagine those omissions, but they could have happened were it not for the courage and determination of Jackie Robinson. In 1947, he became the first Black player in Major League Baseball. During this time, people of color were discriminated against in many ways, including in sports. Only white players were allowed to play in the major leagues. So, baseball-loving Black players formed their own leagues. They developed their own talented stars and lots of fans. The general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, Branch Rickey, knew it was wrong to keep talented players out of the major leagues. It was wrong for the players and wrong for baseball. He wanted to integrate the teams, but he knew it would take a very special person to stand up against racism and break the color barrier. Then he discovered Jackie Robinson. Robinson could hit, run, and field as well as anyone. His daring style of running bases excited fans and unnerved opposing players. A fierce competitor, he could beat opponents with a bunt, a blast, and most importantly, his character. After a year in the minor leagues, during which he had the best batting record and led his team to a championship, Robinson, now 28, joined the Brooklyn Dodgers. Robinson's rookie season was tough. Opposing players yelled insults at him. Pitchers purposely threw balls at him. Fans booed. Even some of Robinson's teammates treated him badly. Robinson took it all with quiet dignity and determination. He never lost his temper and never fought back with his fists. Instead, he let his skills on the baseball diamond speak for him. In his rookie year, he hit solidly, led the league in stolen bases, and won the Rookie of the Year award. In 1949, he won the National League batting title and also the highest honor, the Most Valuable Player Award. By 1950, he was the highest-paid Brooklyn Dodger and the team's leader. Robinson showed that ability was what mattered. Any player who could perform at that professional level belonged in the major leagues. Soon, other teams began to hire Black and Latino players. Today, the national pastime of the United States is composed of players and management of all races and nationalities. Do you know? Robinson had won a scholarship to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, where he earned varsity letters in 4 sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track and field. His leadership abilities helped him handle the pressures he faced as Major League Baseball's first Black player. Leading the way, Althea Gibson, 1927 to 2003. Jackie Robinson may have broken the color barrier in baseball, but it took a Black woman to open the door in tennis. Althea Gibson was born to parents who worked as sharecroppers in South Carolina in 1927. Her family moved to Harlem, a neighborhood in New York City, when she was 3. As Althea grew into a tall, athletic girl, she dominated the sports and games that kids in her neighborhood played in the streets. She won a citywide paddle tennis tournament at age 12. She loved sports so much that she began skipping school to play more, eventually dropping out in 7th grade. Althea learned to play tennis and soon came to the attention of 2 young Black physicians, Dr. Robert Johnson and Dr. Hubert Eaton. The 2 men were looking for talented young Black tennis players. They helped Althea become a better player while also making sure she finished high school. After rising to the top of the ranks in the All-Black American Tennis Association, ATA, in 1949, Althea Gibson became the first Black woman to compete in the National Indoor Championships. That same year, however, she was barred from competing in the U.S. National Championships, now known as the U.S. Open, because of her race. Gibson was invited to compete in the U.S. Open the following year. She lost a close match in the second round, but won respect. The next year, She became the first Black player invited to play in the United Kingdom at Wimbledon, one of the world's biggest tennis championships. Off the court, Gibson continued her education after she won an athletic scholarship to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. She played tennis, basketball, and golf for the school and completed her degree in physical education in 1953. Gibson's breakthrough came in 1956. That year, she became the first Black player to win a Grand Slam, the top 4 tennis tournaments in the world in the same year. She also won the women's doubles title at Wimbledon. In 1957, Gibson won the singles title at Wimbledon and received the trophy from Queen Elizabeth II. She returned home to a ticker tape parade in New York. She capped off the year by winning the U.S. Nationals tournament. The following year, she won both Wimbledon and the U.S. Nationals again and was featured on the covers of Sports Illustrated and Time magazines. The Associated Press named her Female Player of the Year 2 years in a row. Gibson's achievements in tennis were more than enough to secure her legacy as a top athlete, but she was not done. In 1964, she became the first Black member of the Ladies Professional Golf Association, LPGA. At that time, many golf clubs around the country did not allow Black golfers to join or use their courses. The courses that did allow Gibson to play often barred her from the clubhouse and bathrooms. She also received death threats and racist insults from the crowd when she played. Gibson was not swayed. When some golf courses on the tour changed their open tournaments to invitationals to exclude her, the players of the LPGA voted to boycott those tournaments unless everyone was welcome to play. The clubs backed down. As a result of her talent and determination, Gibson broke the color barrier in 2 sports and paved the way for other great Black tennis players who followed, such as Arthur Ashe and Venus and Serena Williams. The fastest man. Jesse Owens, 1913 to 1980. Sprinting legend Jesse Owens burst onto the sporting scene in junior high school in Cleveland, Ohio. He set world records for his age group in the high jump and long jump. The high school track coach invited Jesse to join the team. Jesse helped support his family, so he had to work after school and couldn't practice. Instead, he got up at 5 a.m. to train with his coach. Jesse's legend grew. At a national high school track meet, the teenage star tied the world record for the 100-yard dash and set a new world record for the long jump. In 1935, at a college championship meet, Owens set new world records for the 220-yard dash, long jump, and 220-yard low hurdles. He tied the world record of 9.4 seconds for the 100-yard dash. Never before had a track and field athlete accomplished so much. And he did it in about an hour, with a back injury. Yet, for all the records he set, his greatest triumphs lay ahead. An Olympian for eternity. In 1936, just before the start of World War II, Owens traveled to Berlin, Germany for the Summer Olympic Games, but he was not welcome there. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler ruled Germany. Nazis believed that non-Jewish white people were a master race superior to all others. They called Black people primitive. Owens was not intimidated by Hitler's attitude nor by threats, and he proved it on the track in Berlin. He earned 4 gold medals, a first in Olympic history. Owens returned from Germany to a ticker tape parade and cheers of admiration. He went on to be a playground director for the city of Cleveland and a well-known speaker. He toured the country and the world, inspiring young people to do their best. The government named him America's Ambassador of Sports. Later in life, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Legends. The 20th century was an amazing time that gave rise to the world of professional sports we know today. Along the way, It also gave us athletes who stood out from a crowd of hugely talented people. They astonished the world with their incredible athletic abilities. They also forever changed their sports and their societies for the better, ensuring that opportunities to compete at the highest level would be open to everyone. All of them will be remembered as American sports legends.
Good job!